Learn them on Thursday. So we got shortcuts. You know, on Thursday I made you do the theorem a lot. Some of you discovered the shortcuts, some of you didn't. That's okay. We're doing only shortcuts from here on out. So, first off, we have a 45, 45, 90 triangle. It's one of our special right triangles. We have two special right triangles. It is special because our angles are 45 and 45, which means it's what kind of a triangle? Yeah, it's an isosceles right triangle. So we have our right angle, and then since these two angles are the same, these two sides are the same. So it's an isosceles triangle. And then I think you learned that the isosceles part, so the sides that are the same, we call legs. And we're going to label those X. So the sides that are the same are our legs. We call them X. Okay? Our hypotenuse, remember, is always the one opposite our right angle. In this case, all you got to do is take whatever your leg is and put square root of 2 behind it. So this hypotenuse, X, square root of 2. Bless you. Okay, let's label it down here too. So our legs that are the same, they are X. So whatever number they are, to find our hypotenuse, all we're going to do is throw the square root of 2 behind it. Okay? So looking at this first one, if this is 8, how big is X? 8.
Also 8.
So then using our little formula, how big would Y be? 8 square roots of 2, yeah. If that super confuses you, you can write this out. You can write the hypotenuse equals X. Well, we know X is 8, right? 8 square roots of 2. So it literally just falls right into that formula. Okay. Number 2, let's find Y first. How big is Y? 25. And how do I know Y is 25?
Because on the other side it says 25.
Yeah. And these two we know are the same. Perfect. How about X? Yeah. 25 square root of 2. All we're doing is putting that leg measure, the 25, put square root of 2 behind it.
This is really hard.
Okay, so in number 3, Kyla, what do you think? It's just 5, yeah.
No,
Our hypotenuse is 5 square roots of 2. So if I follow this formula, my hypotenuse equals X square roots of 2. Well, I know my hypotenuse is 5 square roots of 2. So 5 square roots of 2 equals X square roots of 2. Square roots of 2 cancel. So X is just 5. What does that make Y? 5, because they have to be the same. So here's the deal with special right triangles in our 45, 45, 90. At least one side should have a square root of 2. And at least one side shouldn't. Okay? So like here, you notice these don't have square roots of 2, and this one has 1. Here, these don't have square roots of 2. Here it has 1. Here, this has square root of 2. These two don't. So if you ever get where all the sides have square roots of 2, you did something wrong. Okay? Does that kind of make sense? All right, move on. We'll do more problems. Not move on, I guess, yet. But do more. All right. How big is X? 3. How big is Y? 3 square roots of 2. And the middle one?
10.
What's 10?
X and Y.
X and Y. Good. These are both 10. Alright. Here's where stuff gets a little complicated.
That's not a square root of 2.
It's not a square root of 2.
That doesn't have
Life is good when our legs are whole numbers and our hypotenuse is square roots of 2. When our hypotenuse is a whole number, it gets a little complicated. Because I can't just put the whole number out. Okay? What we're going to do, we're going to write our hypotenuse equals X square root of 2, because that's our formula. And what does my hypotenuse equal?
4.
4. So we're going to write 4 equals X square root of 2. If I have X times something and I want to get X by itself, I'm going to divide by that something. So we're going to divide each side by the square root of 2. Here's the tricky part. You can't have square roots of 2 or square roots of 3 or whatever on the bottom of a fraction. So to get rid of it, we're going to multiply by the square root of 2 over the square root of 2. So it's like we're multiplying by 1, just like a fancy 1. So on the top, I have 4 square roots of 2. And on the bottom, who knows what the square root of 2 times square root of 2 is?
0.
The square root of 4, which would be 2.
Got the square root of 4. So square root of 2 times square root of 2 is the square root of 4, which is 2. Or you can think about like the square roots just cancel, and you're left with 2. Okay. Well, what is 4 divided by 2? 2. So I have 2 square roots of 2 is going to be both of my sides.
Yeah, I'm lost.
Yeah, I have no idea what you said. I didn't know.
But did you write it down?
I tried.
Okay, that's what's important. Okay. Let's do a little bit easier one.
Wait, hold on. I was dividing it by 2.
Okay. Here I have 5 square roots of 2. How big is y? 5 square roots of 2. If I use my little formula to find hypotenuse, first off, should my hypotenuse have a square root of 2 or no? No, because the legs have square roots of 2. Okay? So if I use my little formula, hypotenuse equals my leg. Well, what's my leg? 5 square roots of 2. Then I have to take that times the square root of 2. Because that's our formula, right? Hypotenuse equals your leg times the square root of 2. So this is my leg, the 5 square roots of 2. I'm taking it times the square root of 2. Well, what did we just say happens with square root of 2 times square root of 2?
Square root of 4.
Square root of 4, which is?
2.
So what I have is 5 times 2, which is?
10.
Well, does that make sense that I got a whole number? Yeah, because we don't want square roots of 2. Okay, I think Dylan kind of picked up on a little trick. What do you notice if this is 4? What happens there?
You multiply by 2.
Is that true here? 5 to 10. So whenever your hypotenuse is a whole number, all you have to do is half it and put square root of 2. Right? Because half of 4 is 2, put square root of 2. Half of 10 is 5, put square root of 2. So what would I do with the 20? Divide by 2. So 20 divided by 2 is?
10.
What do I got to put behind it? Square root of 2. So both of these are 10 square roots of 2. How about over here? You guys agree? 4 square roots of 2?
Yep.
Yeah. Half 8 is 4. Throw square root of 2 behind it. Alright. What about this next one?
Just an angle in it, but that shouldn't matter because that's how our triangles have already been.
Yeah. What side is labeled? My hypotenuse. And what kind of trick did we learn? Divide by 2. Is 9 divided by 2 nice? No, that's not horrible. But you can write 9 over 2 square roots of 2, or 9 over 2 is what? Or you can write 4.5 square roots of 2. They're the same thing. Either one of them is fine. Okay. Question on our whole numbers as hypotenuses? Kind of okay? Okay. Alright. Here it says, what's the length of the hypotenuse of a 45, 45, 90 triangle with a leg of 5 square roots of 3? Well, let's draw our triangle. And it says I'm looking for what?
Your hypotenuse.
My hypotenuse, that's what I'm looking for. And what other information can I label?
Your leg.
My leg is
5 squares of 3.
5 square roots of 3. Well, what do I normally do to find my hypotenuse once I have my leg?
5 times 2, but this is the square root of 3, so it'd be 5 times 3.
So to find our hypotenuse, it says our hypotenuse, we take our leg, which is 5 squared roots of 3. So take your leg and do what to it? Times it by 2 or square root of 2. Here, do our square roots cancel? No, because they're not the same number. Well, what is 3 times 2? 6. So I have 5 square roots of 6. Can I simplify that square root of 6? Like, can I pull a perfect square out of there? Mm-mm. So this is just our answer. When you can't simplify the square root, you just leave it. Last one, the 45/45s. If my diagonal, bless you, is 11, how can I find the sides? First off, what kind of angles do I have? In a square. In a square, I got 45, 45, 90. So if my diagonal is 11, how can I find each side? 11 divided by 2, and then do what? Square root of 2. How do I know that this one should have a square root? Because the diagonal doesn't. Yep. And then what would this side be?
The same.
The same. 11 over 2 square root of 2. Or you could put 5.5 square root of 2. What would the other two sides be? The same. It's a square, right? Okay. Questions on our 45/45s? Okay, flip the page. We're going to do 30, 60, 90. Which is our other kind of special right triangles. So in 30, 60, 90, it's kind of cool because they're multiples of 30. You guys probably don't care, but that's okay. I think in your investigation, we started with an equilateral triangle, and I just cut it in half, right? So when we cut that in half, we had our hypotenuse, which is a whole side of our triangle. Thank you. And we took half of it. So here, our short leg, you guys remember talking about like across from your small angle is your small side, across from your big angle is your big side? You guys remember talking about that? So opposite our 30-degree angle is always the short side. So short is always opposite the 30. So our bottom one, yep. So this across from our 30 over here is going to be our short leg, and we're going to call it X. What's going to be our biggest side? The one across from the 60 or across from the 90? Across from your 90 is going to be your biggest. So jump down to your hypotenuse. All you do is double the short leg. We got to have square roots because it's like a thing. If you find your long leg opposite the 60, you're going to take that short leg and throw square root of 3 behind it. So here's kind of how I remember. In a 45, 45, 90, you only have two different numbers, right? It's either 45 or 90. So that's why you use square root of 2. And a 30, 60, 90, you have three different numbers. So that's why I use the square root of 3. Okay, thinkers, right? Okay, so you'll notice that everything is kind of based off of this short leg. So I'm always going to find the short leg first, and then you can do everything else, okay? Let's label these. Short side, we said is X. Long side, X square root of 3. And hypotenuse, 2X. Alright, so the first question I always ask myself is like, what am I given? If I'm given the short side, life is great. If I'm not, we gotta work a little bit. In this first one, this 5, is that the short side, long side, or hypotenuse?
Short.
And how do we know it's the short side? Yeah. If this one's 60, this one has to be 30, and across from it is my short side. Okay? So my short side is 5. So this is my short leg. X is my long leg. It's across from the 60, so what do I have to do? Yeah, put a square root of 3 behind it. So I'm going to take that short leg, which is 5, put the square root of 3 behind it. Y is my hypotenuse. To find my hypotenuse, I take 2 times my short leg. So 2 times 5 is 10. Okay. This 14, is it my short leg, long leg, or hypotenuse? Short leg, so life is good. X is my long leg or hypotenuse? Hypotenuse, so what do I have to do? Yeah, times that short leg times 2, and we get 28. That leaves Y to be my long leg, so I gotta take the short leg and do what? Put a square root of 3 behind it, so what's my Y? 14 square roots of 3. Questions so far? Okay. Number 6, what am I given? My hypotenuse, which has a formula of 2x. So divide by 2, and that helps me find my short leg. Remember, we always want to find short leg first. First off, is my short leg X or Y? X. How big is my short leg going to be? 16. Because it's half of that 32. Now that I've found my short leg, my long leg is easy. What is that? Good. 16 square roots of 3. Questions? No? Okay. More practice. Top left, that 9. Is it short leg, long leg, or hypotenuse? Short leg. So you want to find X or Y first? X. Okay. Is X my long leg or hypotenuse? My long leg, and how do I find it? 9 square roots of 3. Just take that short leg times by square root of 3. That leaves Y to be my hypotenuse. How do I find it? 9 times 2, which is 18. Middle guy, what am I given? My long leg this time. But it's okay because it's got a square root of 3. So my long leg formula is x square roots of 3. If my long leg is 3 square roots of 3, what's x? 3. Because the square roots of 3 cancel. Should I put that as actual x or is it y in this case? It's x because the x stands for my short leg, not my hypotenuse. So this is 3. That's my short leg. How do I find my hypotenuse? 3 times 2, which is 6. Okay. I have what labeled? Hypotenuse. From hypotenuse, easiest, always first thing to find your short leg. Which one's my short leg, y or x? Y is my short leg. How can I find y? How do you 12? Divide by 2, good. How can I find my long leg? Put square root of 3 behind it. What is that?
Why do we have to make everything so difficult?
This one's not bad. I'm gonna get to the rest now. Okay. What am I giving in my next one? My hypotenuse. Always find your short leg first. Which one's my short leg, y or x? Y is my short leg. Well, that's kind of like this one. How did I find my short leg? Divide by 2. So if I take 12 square roots of 3 and divide by 2, 6 square roots of 3.
So it doesn't affect the square root, just affects the
Right. Yeah. So when you half it, just half that whole number, not the square root part. How do I find my long leg? Like in general, I take my short leg and do what? Times square root of 3. Okay, so my long leg formula is x square root of 3. Well, in this case, what's my x? 6 what? 6 square root of 3. So that's my entire x. I still have to put that square root of 3 back there.
So you get 6 square root of 9.
6 square root of 9, which is 6 times 3, because the square root of 9 is 3. So 18. Kind of the same rule as with your 45, 45, 90. You have to have at least one whole number. Okay? So since your hypotenuse and short leg go together because they're just doubled, if both of them should either have square roots or both of them should be whole numbers. Whatever your long leg is should be opposite those two because the long leg is the formula with the square root of 3. So either the long leg has a square root of 3 or it's a whole number. And then the other two go together. So if the long leg is a whole number, both of these should have square roots of 3. If the hypotenuse of the short leg is a whole number, only your long leg should have a square root. Okay? And remember square root of 3, not 2, because there's 3 different numbers for angles. Okay. Here's where it gets ugly. The other one got ugly when our hypotenuse was a whole number. Here, since our long leg has a square root of 3, that's where it gets ugly. If your long leg is a whole number, it's a little messy. Okay? So we have this 60 degree here, right? So this is my long leg. Can I erase this? Is that okay? So it's out of our way. So our long leg is 15. Remember we have that formula. Long leg is our short leg times the square root of 3. And our long leg is 15. We got to divide by what? Divide this by the square root of 3.
It's so difficult.
Okay. Last time, are you doing this in? Oh. Last time when we had the square root of 2 on the bottom, we had to get rid of it. Same thing here. You gotta get rid of the square root of 3 on the bottom. So the top becomes 15 square roots of 3. And what did we say square root of 3 times square root of 3 is? Square root of 9, which is 3. What do you notice happens again? It becomes 5 square roots of 3. So my short leg is 5 square roots of 3.
So just divide that by 9. Or divide the long leg by 3 and then slap them.
Same sort of pattern. In the 45, 45, 90, you divide by 2 because it's the square root of 2 and throw the square root of 2 behind it. Here, you're going to divide by 3, throw square root of 3 behind it. Once you have your short leg, it's not too bad because to get to your hypotenuse, you just double your short leg. Just double the whole number. 5 times 2 is 10. Leave square root of 3 back there. Again, if your long leg is a whole number, these two should both have square roots. Your short leg and your hypotenuse should both have square roots because they go together. Okay, let's try our trick version. This 9 is my short leg, long leg, or hypotenuse. My long leg. So the trick was to take the 9 and do what? Divide by 3. Well, 9 divided by 3 is? And what does it need? Square root of 3. Is that my hypotenuse or my short leg? Short leg. So this is 3 square roots of 3. How do I find hypotenuse? Times it by 2, so I get 6 square roots of 3. Remember just to double the outside. Don't double the inside.
Wait,
What's up?
noticed like this 3, 6, 9, like they're all multiples of each other, like 3, and then
Yeah.
the one on the left, they're all multiples of 6. It's 6, 12, 18.
5, 10, 15.
Look at me, I'm smart.
Alright. In this one, am I given short leg, long leg, or hypotenuse? Long leg. So what trick did we use with both of these? Divide by 3. Is 5 divided by 3 nice? No. Doesn't matter. Let's just write it. 5 divided by 3. What do I need behind there? Square root of 3. How do I get hypotenuse? Multiply by 2. Same deal. I don't know if we're good at fractions anymore, but when you multiply by 2, you just multiply the top by 2. Alright, says if the long leg of 369 triangle is 12, what would the other two sides be? Let's draw our triangle. 30, 60. Where's my 12 going? Top, bottom, or slant? Or I'm sorry, that made no sense. Left, bottom, or slant? The left, it's my long leg, which is opposite my 60. So that's our whole number 1. So this is going to be our icky. How do I get my short leg? My long leg is a whole number. What do I divide by 3? 12 divided by 3 is 4. Square root of 3. How about my hypotenuse? 8 square root of 3. Last one of these, it says I have an equilateral triangle. I need to find the height. That would be that thing that we're looking for. What's this angle? 60. So this angle is, what's this side? 10. What's this side? 20. It's an equilateral, right? So if this whole thing's 20, this is 20. So how big is my height? Good, Maggie. 10 squared to 3. Because this is my short leg. Find your height, you're just going to take it 10 squared to 3. Questions? Do we have room for one more? Or two more?
What's best in two?
I don't have the brain capacity.
That's okay. You only got a half sheet for homework. Okay. All right. What shape is this?
A square.
So how big is this?
6.
Is that 6 that we just marked my short leg? Well, first off, what kind of triangle do I have? 45, 45, 90 or 30, 60, 90? 30, 60, 90. So is that 6 short leg, long leg, or hypotenuse? Of course. Should I find y or x first? Y, because this is my short leg. What do I gotta do with the 6? Divide by 3. What's 6 divided by 3? 2.
My bad.
Dawn.
And then what? Then what? Just 2?
Just slap
Yeah,
the
just
square.
slap.
Square root of 3.
Why do I keep
How do I get the x?
multiply by 2?
Multiply by 2, so I get
4. Square root of 2.
4 square roots of 3. Good.
Why do I keep saying that?
I don't know. Okay. If you get all whole numbers, just like in a 45, 45, 90, you did something wrong. Alright. Last one. This. First off, what kind of triangle do I have here? 30, 60, 90, so this must be 60, right? Is this 16 that's labeled my short leg, long leg, or hypotenuse? Hypotenuse. So, is the x going to be easy to find, or should I find this dude? That dude, because short leg always find first. How do I get from that 16 to my short leg? Divide by 2, 3. Divide by 2, and we get 8. So this x is 8 squared, so 3. Good. How much is this angle up here? If that whole thing, see how the whole thing's labeled 105? And this is 60, what's this angle? 45. Weird how that would work out, because that's our other kind of triangle. So that means this angle down here is
45.
because this is 90 still. So if this is 8, how big's y? 8. How big is z? 8 square root of 2. Beautiful.
That was my.
That was a lot going on.